In the second part of the What If, we discussed on how Goku used his cosmic power against the mighty Frieza for the first time, which had severe consequences. Goku then sees that this cosmic power is also a curse. He was filled with intense hunger, similar to that of Galactus, who has to feed on entire planets to stay alive. Goku, when he used his cosmic power, was not prepared, and out of pure instinct, he destroyed the entire planet, feasting on its energy. But of course, this is Goku we're talking about. He was horrified at what he did, and Goku is a different person now. Goku, of course, went to Planet Namek to find Dende, where he was able to use the Namekian Dragon Balls to then have a better sight of all the planets, ones that are uninhabited. In case this ever happens again, he can go to planets that are not inhabited by life and destroy the planets, as the planet energy could be enough to sustain him. On top of this, he also brought back the planet that he destroyed, bringing back a lot of the scientists and other people. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that Frieza's back, but we'll catch up on that later. Now, as for the future saga, we just briefly went over that. We all know how that goes. There's no way that the androids nor Cell, who couldn't even become perfect, had a chance. So after the quick recap is done, there would be 7 years of peace, as Trunks went back to his timeline, and we already talked about what happened in his, so Trunks' saga is finished. Now, as for our timeline, for the 7 years, things would be peaceful. Goten would still be born, and things are peaceful on the planet. Goku has never had an outburst again. He's kept his hunger under control. Now, you could argue that Goku maybe feels like he's a danger, so he leaves for those 7 years, and honestly, I think that would happen. Why is this? Well, Goku was terrified at what he did. He destroyed an entire planet where he had no control, it just happened. And yes, he has a better control over the hunger. It's just the fact that he's worried if it does spike again, and he always notices that enemies are coming after him. He has the same mindset that he originally did, so instead of Goku dying like the original, and he just stayed dead, Goku would actually leave planet Earth, and he would begin exploring the universe, as Goku can survive the vacuum of space. So Goku would just explore around the universe for the next 7 or so years, until he can get a better control over his power. This means that when Goku does go to dead planets that have little to no life on it, he does tap into his cosmic form, and of course this does cause hunger, but he notices that the more that he uses it, the more used to it he's getting, so it's not instantaneous starving and he has to feast on life. So Goku does destroy a lot of planets while he's out there, but they're only planets that are dead. They're not planets with life on them. He absolutely refuses, unless the planet is full of pure evil beings that could never be brought back. We're talking like Frieza level of bad. Then maybe he might. But he doesn't like taking life like that. That just goes against Goku's whole character. Now, during his travels, he would find Planet Yardrat, and he would stop by Namek and say hello to thank them as well, stopping by Planet Yardrat, which is nearby. And with that, he would learn how to better control his energy and his spirit. He would also learn the instant transmission technique, which, again, doesn't really be needed for Goku because he can instantaneously teleport wherever he wants to across the whole cosmos. But still, it's a useful technique to learn. Now, while he is exploring, he learns more about Galactus through sources, through ancient texts, throughout the entire universe. He learns that this being Galactus would use to feed on planets, and he would also have heralds. Now, these heralds are avatars that Galactus would find, and viewing them with cosmic energy, they would go search out planets for him to find and destroy. Now, of course, that was Galactus' thing. If Goku really wanted to, he could give Herald some of his galactic powers, aka cosmic, and make them much more powerful, but we'll touch upon that later. Now, during the 7 years, Goku would still arrive back as he has a good handle over his power now, he can control it. As he was happy to see his friends and family again, they arrived for the World Tournament. Gohan, by this point, he still went to school at the Orange Star High School. He met Videl and he still became the Great Saiyan Man. Now, Videl would still be overwhelmed by Spopovich and Yamu, who again would anger Gohan and make him go Super Saiyan, in my opinion, for the first time, maybe second. And that in turn, they would then take Gohan's energy. Now, the Supreme Kai knows who Goku is. The Supreme Kai knows that Goku was destroying planets and feasting on them, but he kept quiet about it because he doesn't want Lord Beerus finding out. If Beerus found out, he could be terrified of Goku and instantly destroy him alongside with everything else in the way, because Beerus is terrified of that power. Now, he would then ask Goku for help. He knows who Goku is, and he can provide him with more details on what Goku is, if he helps him defeat Majin Buu. And of course Goku would agree, so they followed the energy that Yamu and etc. have taken from Gohan. Now, when they do arrive, Vegeta and the others are there, same with Raditz, they don't really need anyone's help. I still think that Vegeta would kill Pui Pui and Goku would have killed Yakon. As Babidi's getting worried, Babidi would then send Dabura out to go fight. Unfortunately for Dabura, he has absolutely no chance against even Vegeta or even Raditz, who in my opinion by this point still has Super Saiyan 2. Both of them do. Raditz and Vegeta are more rivals than Goku and Vegeta were. Vegeta of course wants to be number one, but he realizes that Kakarot is not normal. Now he's a freak of nature. He saw him eat a planet, so he kind of doesn't compare himself to Kakarot. He does compare himself to Raditz, and Raditz was able to catch up to Vegeta, actually keeping up with him, and they are true rivals. Since this is the case, we would then have Babidi try taking over Raditz and Vegeta's minds. Now, would Babidi be able to take over Goku's mind? Absolutely not. Goku is still a good person, and even if Babidi could try and take over his mind, Goku would instantly reject it, and it wouldn't work on him. Goku's cosmic power is far above Babidi's magic. But if Vegeta and Raditz would be trying to take over, Raditz would reject it. Would Vegeta reject it? I think so. The reason why is because Vegeta knows that he cannot surpass Kakarot, and he's okay with being a rival to Raditz because it's pushing him. He's not having a midlife crisis like he originally did because he wasn't humiliated really in front of the androids and even Cell for that matter. So Vegeta would never have that midlife crisis to where he would allow himself to be absorbed. So this means that there's no Majin Vegeta. And unfortunately for Babidi, that means the end, because Babidi would have been killed by the Supreme Kai or Piccolo or etc., and the Supreme Kai would then take Majin Buu's egg. Now, of course, they would never free Majin Buu, because again, Majin Buu could be evil, it's hard to sense, but Goku can actually sense and see that Majin Buu is pure, you can tell. So when they do go to Supreme Kai's world, Goku would go there by himself with a Supreme Kai and Kibito. Goku would actually put his hand on the egg and he would actually free Majin Buu, which would shock the Supreme Kai, telling Goku, are you an idiot? What are you doing? And Goku says, I want to fight him. As Goku can sense that Majin Buu is very powerful. Now, of course, this is Fat Buu, who, of course, is happy to fight Goku. He seems like fun. Goku would have fun fighting Buu, but we know that Goku's not even trying. He is far above Buu in terms of capabilities, and he notices that Buu is very conflicted. He can sense a lot better than what you can imagine. Having cosmic power, he can sense that Buu is split in half in terms of energy. There's pure evil and pure good. So he would then put his hand on Buu's body, where he would then separate the two Buus, the good and the evil. This is with the help of the Ardrat people, as he can separate ki energy, and also too, it's something that Galactic could also do as well. He could separate beings, de-age them, and more. He's a literal divine god. He can do practically anything he wants. So why can't he not separate two people? Now, with the Evil Buu would try attacking Majin Buu and Goku, but Goku would have killed him already, completely incinerating him. I think what he would do is grab him and kind of use his own version of a Hakai, which is his cosmic energy completely incinerating Buu from the inside out, meaning there's no trace of Evil Buu left. Now, Goku would tell Supreme Kai that Fat Buu is completely harmless now, and he's not going to hurt nobody, and all the evil was separated from him. Now, if this is the case, he says that Buu can hang out here if he wants, but he's more than welcome on Earth, as he's pretty peaceful. So Goku would actually bring Buu back to Earth, and Buu would enjoy time there. People would say there's a pink monster out in the forest, which would then bring Mr. Satan to go find him. Now, of course, the world champion can one-shot Buu if he really wanted to, but he decides to befriend Buu as they become good friends. Now, this is the case, Goku would still be on Supreme Kai's world, as he's learning more about what Galactus was and more about himself. And the Supreme Kai says that it appears that when Galactus was killed by ZENO himself, he was still alive, but he was able to give his power to you. And Goku would then stand there for a few moments, pausing in desperate silence, as he was processing it, and he says, so does that mean that I'll become a monster like him, where he just eats everything? And Supreme Kai says, potentially. He says that if your power continues to rise, your hunger will only continue to grow, but it seems like you have a better control than even Galactus did. His power was so immense that he constantly needed to feed on planets. but you have used the power multiple times and didn't need to constantly feed on worlds. So it seems like him passing his power to you, since now you are the second user of his cosmic power, maybe you're better adapted to it than even he was. Maybe a Galactus 2.0. And he says, but we're just speculating, we don't truly know. And he says that if Beerus finds out, alongside if the angels to the Grand Priest or higher find out, you could be wiped out and destroyed, as they don't want to deal with that again. Now, Goku thinks, oh, that's a bit of a bummer. But anyway, carrying on. Now, what about the events of Dragon Ball Daima? Now, would Daima still happen? Yes and no. If you want to say that Daima does still happen, unfortunately for Goma and the others, they would quickly realize that Goku was there. As Goku, even if he would somehow be reverted to a child, I don't think that would happen. When they make the wish to bring everybody back to being a child, I don't think it would affect Goku. Why is this? If you can say that Goku was reverted back to a child originally, Goku can just make himself older. He's a cosmic entity. And even if so, would the Dragon Ball's magic even work on him? Realistically, the only Dragon Balls that can really cause effect on him is the Super Dragon Balls, which is as powerful as ZENO, and that's equal to being over to magically enhance Goku or change him. The normal Dragon Balls are much weaker than Goku. Could they really change him? Even if they did, he could just make himself an adult again and be fine. Not like he really even cared. As unfortunately for Goma, even with the third eye, Goku would absolutely dominate him in their matchup, and he would have killed Goma in their match. Goma would have had no chance, as there would be no Super Saiyan 4, or would there? You see, you could have people like Vegeta and Raditz show up Super Saiyan 3. As Vegeta was able to reach it on his own, why can't Raditz and the other ones do it as well? And if that was the case, you could maybe even see Raditz unlocking Super Saiyan 4, or even Vegeta unlocking Super Saiyan 4. And both of them unlock it with the help of Neva, using his Demon World magic to unlock their new forms, which would be awesome to see Raditz and Vegeta in Super Saiyan 4 mode. Now, of course, this gives them a huge buff in power, but they didn't really need it, as again, Goma was defeated. So we would probably see a Super Saiyan 4 match between Vegeta and Raditz. And honestly, if their powers would pretty much be dead even, you could see them attacking Goku, as Goku's the perfect person to fight against. And unfortunately, they would still lose against Goku, but again, Goku was amazed with how much stronger they've become. Goku doesn't really need forms. He doesn't rely on Super Saiyans. He doesn't need that power to enhance his strength. Goku has limitless cosmic energy. He doesn't need forms, which I know is a big change to his character. Goku relies on transformations all the time to increase his power. But with cosmic energy like this, he doesn't need to. This cosmic power that Galactus gave him is above the angels and even the Daikaishin, aka the Grand Priest, only under that of ZENO. So you kind of have to look at that and be like, oh, okay, the forms aren't really needed. Not even Ultra Instinct or more is needed, because he has the power cosmic. He can be as strong as he wants to be, but in turn, the hunger is the downside. So you have to look at that. So now, carrying on, Lord Beerus will still wake up with a person who can challenge his power, and he would learn about Goku. Now, this would cause a big effect, with Beerus finding out that Goku has cosmic energy, and Whis would even state that this is the child that Galactus himself gave power to. Beerus was worried. If that's the case, he could cause the destruction of the entire universe with a glint of an eye, and Beerus wants to go meet this person. So Beerus would arrive on Earth this time, where Goku was with everyone else celebrating Bulma's 38th birthday party. Now, by this point, Raditz is with Launch, and they have their own child, maybe by the name of Ranch, which would be funny. Goku and Chi-Chi, of course, are together, Bulma and Vegeta, so everybody's happy. Now, one thing to note as well, with Beerus arriving, Vegeta would be a little bit terrified, but Goku was interested in Beerus. He knows about Beerus, and he can sense Beerus' energy. He can even sense Whis' power as well. And he's amazed with how strong Beerus is and how absurdly strong Whis is. He's never met people this powerful before. Of course, Beerus is instantly interested in Goku, checking him out. He asks Goku a couple of questions, and Goku says, no, never really harmed anybody before. I have destroyed planets, which makes Beerus a little serious, but Goku says, no, they aren't planets with life on it. They were only planets that were already dead and didn't really have anything on it, and no life. I even double checked. And Beerus is a little mad at the Supreme Kai for not telling him this news, but he says that he wants to test out his power, as Beerus is here for a fight anyway. So a few things should happen here. I think Beerus wants to be satisfied, but I think it wouldn't be Goku first, because Goku's a little bit worried about the repercussions of using his divine cosmic power. That first up would actually be Vegeta and Raditz. They have a few tricks up their sleeve, and Vegeta needs this to push past his fear and battle Beerus. So with that being said, Raditz and Vegeta would then go Super Saiyan 4 and fight Beerus together. Unfortunately, while they are a good team up, Beerus is pretty impressed with their power. It's not enough to defeat him. Beerus is way too strong, and he would easily defeat them. Goku would then teach them to do that thing, and Vegeta is completely against it as he finds it embarrassing. Raditz says, unless you want to be destroyed by Beerus, do it. And so Vegeta and Raditz would do the fusion dance. Now, whoa, Major Dragon. How would they know about the fusion dance? It's because of Goku. Mind you, Goku for the 7 years traveled across the whole cosmos. He teleported to the other world and learned so many things. He learned from the Yardrats, he learned from the Nemorians. Goku can go wherever he wants. He can teleport anywhere. And that's where he went. He talked to King Kai, met the other Kais, learned from them, and he learned the fusion dance. He then taught his friends how to do it in case he's not here or something happens to him, they can take care of themselves. And this is the perfect tryout to test it on Beerus. So the two Super Saiyan 4s would then line up and do the fusion dance correctly this time. Usually they mess up, but they practiced recently. And they would become Vegeta. Now with that being said, the Super Saiyan 4 fusion was immensely powerful. How strong are they? In my opinion, they're a little bit below Super Saiyan God Goku, but the power is there. But they don't have God keys, so the battle will be a bit more one-sided for Beerus. But they do push Beerus pretty well. Beerus is pretty impressed that Immortal was able to get that strong. But the fusion would go apart and they would lose. Now Beerus is ready to fight Goku, and Beerus is more than warmed up, as Goku and Beerus would then fly off into outer space. And by far off into outer space, I'm talking very far. And by far, I mean millions of light years away. They're going to a dead planet where in case Goku uses up too much power, he can eat a planet. And this is Goku's failsafe. Now Whis would then form a massive sphere around them using his own power, as Whis is a bit intrigued to see how strong Goku actually is. As then, after a moment of silence, like you just heard, they would then clash. Now, of course, Goku is getting warmed up, but Beerus shows the clear upper hand against Goku. He would then grab Goku saying, "Is this all? Is this the legendary power of Galactic? And I'm not impressed." But of course, Goku's getting warmed up. He's never fought someone like Beerus before. He's never used this much cosmic energy. Goku doesn't have a limit. He's never pushed himself like this. And Goku says, "Fine, I'll show you." Goku would then tap into his cosmic power as it begins to skyrocket his power level, as he's reaching heights that he's never thought he could reach before. And when Goku is in this pool of power, he doesn't sense a limit. There's nothing stopping his growth, as it's almost like an infinite power-up that Goku can pull from. It's nearly omnipotent. Nearly. He's still below ZENO. Beerus was amazed with how strong he is, but then he gets worried with how strong Goku's growing. He's going to soon surpass him. Beerus would then go to his full power, and the two would then clash going at it. Goku's continuous growth, he would actually overwhelm Beerus and easily knock him around soon because he's growing in terms of power. Goku's never pushed his limits before, and see how strong he can become, and now we can see it. Even Whis is getting worried with how fast he just grew within a few short minutes, to where now he's surpassing one of the most powerful gods of destruction like he was nothing. Now, Beerus was defeated by Goku, but now Goku was filled with an insatiable hunger. Mind you, he just used up a lot of energy. Goku would then grab Beerus by the neck, and he would actually absorb Beerus's energy, feeding off of Beerus's power. And Beerus would begin shrinking and almost turning into a husk, nearly killing Beerus, as then Goku would then let him go as he was briefly satisfied. And then Whis would then step in and use his own staff's powers to save Beerus' life. Goku nearly killed Beerus by absorbing all of Beerus' energy that was even left. Beerus looked like a raisin. He was just like a hollowed, mummified husk. And Goku was a bit horrified. He just did it out of pure instinct, but at least his hunger was satisfied. Now, Beerus was actually scared of Goku, what Goku just did. but he gives his respect to Goku, and he would then leave with Whis. As he says, don't ever use that power again and try and keep it under control. He would then leave, heading back to his own world out of fear. Goku terrified him. As Goku would then be floating in the cosmos, he would then just look around and see the beautiful stars and more, just looking at them. As he was scared of himself, this power that he had. He never pushed himself that hard before, but he nearly killed Beerus, which would cause a big problem. And Whis would then tell Goku before they leave that he'll be back. As Goku would then head back to Earth to explain that, yeah, he beat Beerus and he went back to his home, everybody was happy. Now, a few days later, while Goku was training in the bamboo forest, Whis would then arrive by himself. He tells Goku that he wants to speak with him. And he speaks with Goku as they would actually teleport far away from Earth into the deep outer reaches of space where they can talk privately. Whis explains that Lord Beerus is getting older, as he explains that unfortunately your power has a ripple effect. Unfortunately, you, being immortal with that much power to where you can absorb a god of destruction and nearly kill him, will in turn cause the destruction of this entire universe. He says that ZENO will find out, and when he does, he will destroy you alongside with all of your friends and family. Which stares Goku and he says, well, what do I do? And he says, there's really only one safe option for you. And he says that your power is uncontrollable. Your hunger is unsatiable, especially when you use your power. Whis explains, do you know what it means to be a god of destruction? And Goku says, I would never want to be one. I mean, just destroying life is horrible. Whis would then laugh and state, no, it's not all that true. Lord Beerus is a bad example. A god of destruction only destroys planets that are uninhabitable, or planets or deities or people that are so vile and evil that there is no saving them, and they will cause the destruction of your universe. Only in extreme cases. Gods of destruction promote life. They would protect the planets that have living good creatures on it. It's the Supreme Kai's job to then make more life and make it more balanced. Unfortunately, that version of a Supreme Kai is not doing that much of a good job, because Beerus is lazy. He says that with you having the title of a destroyer, ZENO would be at more peace with it, having you under control, and you have an unlimited supply of energy to feed upon, and you can keep the universe safe. Now, of course, Goku thinks about it and says, but what about my friends and my family? What, don't they live forever? And I'll just outlive them? Whis would explain that, well, Goku, you already have immortality, which would surprise Goku. Whis says, have you ever granted a true injury? Haven't you noticed that, well, yes, Saiyans don't age past a certain point, but yes, having Galactic's energy, you are already immortal. No matter what, you will outlive everyone that you love and care for. Which would make Goku shudder in sadness as he realizes that no matter what, he's going to be alone. And Whis says that is a price to pay. But Whis says don't turn that price into nothingness. He says take the gifts that you have been given and become something more than just a cosmic eater. Galactus had no care for anything. Living planets, life, he destroyed it all. That's why he was killed. But as a destroyer, you can keep the world going, keep the universe going safe. Maybe be something even more than a destroyer. Something new. And Goku would actually think about this, and Goku would accept. And Whis says, oh, that's splendid, I can't wait. He says, but we'll let the Grand Priest decide, as they might have something even better for you. If not, you can become a destroyer. As Goku would then head back to his friends, he would explain to them what's happened, and they're, of course, angry, worried, depressed. Goku says that he's going to go meet Grand ZENO and the Grand Priest and figure out what to do with them, and he says that if I'm destroyed or anything, just keep living on without me. So Goku would then leave, heading to go meet the Grand Priest and ZENO himself. Now, of course, ZENO was interested in Goku. He's been keeping a close eye on Goku. ZENO is omnipotent. He can see past, present, and future. He knows what Goku can become, something beyond Galactus. When Goku meets him, ZENO would run right up to Goku and shake his hand, and Goku's very happy, friendly nature. People are terrified that he's too carefree with ZENO, but ZENO really likes Goku. He thinks that Goku's not afraid of him. He's super cool. They can be friends. He would then get serious and talk to Goku with the Grand Priest, explaining that Galactus, his problem was that he had such immeasurable power, but his hunger was too much. He then in turn not only ate dead planets, he mainly went after planets that had tons of life on it. And Galactus was not the nicest being either. ZENO said that caused an imbalance, and Gods of Destruction couldn't stop him, so I had to. But then he gave his power to you. But it seems like you have a much better control over your power than even Galactus ever did. And you're still very young. You're only in the 40s, while Galactus was billions of years old, trillions. ZENO explains that with that, I have a proposition for you. And ZENO said this is honestly the only choice that you have, as we need to keep your power under control. As the Grand Priest would then cut in, he would explain that what Grand ZENO means is you will be granted the role of overseer of all 12 universes. What this means is Goku's kind of like the sheriff in town of all the 12 universes. Goku's a righteous-hearted warrior, and they see that. He fights for life and for those who can't defend themselves. He's a good person, plus being the mortal. But Goku's not really mortal no more, he's much of a divine being. They explain that you can be in the gray area. Be in the middle. Us angels, gods of destruction, Kais, they can't meddle with mortal affairs. But Goku can. Technically being born immortal. They explain that you would basically be the guardian of all the 12 universes, protecting and defeating evil, helping the gods of destruction, helping mortals, saving universes, keeping balance between all 12 universes. Long story short, in more of our simple what-if terms, Goku's basically the sheriff in town. He's the sheriff, he keeps law and order, and he does what the Gods of Destruction can't do. Gods of Destruction cannot meddle in mortal affairs, no matter how dark, unless it destroys the entire balance of the universe. Goku can go deeper than that. If there's anybody evil, like let's say Frieza, Goku can go defeat him. And they say in return, you must keep a tight knit over your hunger, but you are allowed to feast on planets that are already dead, or planets that have so much evil that the God of Destruction and the Supreme Kai approve of within that universe, with an angel's final consent to say yes, then you can. He says if you are fighting an opponent of immense power and evil, and he must be destroyed, you can absorb him as well, feeding your hunger. And it's honestly really smart if you think about it. ZENO and the Grand Priest know how powerful Goku is. He's above the Grand Priest when he wants to. Why not turn Goku into their own version of a weapon? Their own version of a true warrior, a person of mortal control, which means he has so much more reach in terms of making better decisions. And Goku would finally agree. So Goku would then go back to his universe and things would be normal for a short time. As ZENO and the Grand Priest prepare all of this, he would spend time with his family. Now, of course, his main universe will be Universe 7, of course, where he would spend as much time with his friends and family as he can, as we all know that he cannot do it forever before one day they will pass on. Now, of course, what about the events of Beerus and Champa, the Golden Frieza arc? What would happen then? Well, if Frieza was wished back and he was given his golden form, Raditz and Vegeta would technically take over the roles as one of the main characters. Goku would still be there, of course, but he would kind of take a step back, letting Vegeta and Raditz handle it until a threat is too big. He's kind of being how he was in the Buu saga, with letting Goten and Trunks become their own warriors, even Gohan, in case Goku knows that he's not going to be around to protect Earth forever. You know, he's not going to be the 24/7. Vegeta and Nappa need to take over the roles as the protectors of Earth, in case something does happen. So this is a great character arc for both characters, as they would unlock Super Saiyan Blue by this point, being trained by Whis, and having Goku there to spar from time to time. It would be fun. Now this means that Raditz and Vegeta would be able to beat Golden Frieza if he was ever wished back in general. And that being said, what about the Universe 6 tournament? I think it would still happen. But would Goku be a part of it? I don't think so. Why do I say this? Well, because Goku is too OP. And I don't think Champa would allow Goku to be used by Beerus. I think Goku would be more of the Monaka card, maybe like the last person in case Vegeta and Raditz actually loses. And because remember, Champa may not even know about Goku's existence yet, so Beerus would kind of use Goku as a cheap card. And if that's the case, would Vegeta and Raditz be able to beat the likes of Hit? Potentially. Raditz would also, could he learn about the Kaioken technique? That's maybe, but I think the two characters would learn Blue Evolution by this time, getting stronger, and they'll be able to maybe beat Hit in their matchup, probably. Either Vegeta or Raditz unlock Super Saiyan Blue, or even Perfected Blue, and defeat Hit. Now, let's just say that Hit actually beats both of them and they step out because they know that Goku's the last person. Goku would then step in, and the fight would be really one-sided. Hit's time skip doesn't even work on Goku. Goku would just one-shot Hit and defeat him, knocking him out of the ring, and they're the winner. But Beerus would still use the Dragon Balls to then wish Champa's Earth back, so things are all chilling. So, past that point, what about the Goku Black arc? It would never happen. Why is that? Well, it's because originally, Goku Black spawned from Trunks' timeline when Zamasu, of course, saw the wish. Also, Zamasu saw how dangerous Goku was when he transformed. Goku would have never fought Zamasu, and there would be no Goku Black. Why is this? Because Beerus is still alive. This means that Zamasu would have been fully indicted as a Kai, and he would be purged of all evils. So everything's peaceful in Trunks' timeline. Trunks is fine. So there's no Goku Black, so that timeline doesn't even happen. And even if you wanted to argue, well, what if it did? What if Goku Black still somehow appeared? What is he going to do against Goku? Zero. Goku would absolutely annihilate Goku Black and completely, maybe even eat his power and completely eat his energy and kill Goku Black, and Trunks' timeline is saved. Yeah, there's nothing that could be done with Goku Black, and even merged Zamasu, it wouldn't have mattered. So, past that, since that was the case, now that's over. There's no Goku Black arc technically. Now, what about the events of the Tournament of Power? It wouldn't have happened, because Goku would have never gotten the idea and said it to ZENO originally when they met for the first time. So there was no Tournament of Power. Now, originally, this would mean that ZENO would erase Universe 7, but that would not happen. ZENO would not erase the universes because he has Goku. Goku's job is to help the universes prepare and rise up their rankings. Now, if they fail, Goku reports back to ZENO that the God of Destruction, the Kai, is not doing their job. And that's when ZENO handles out his own version of the law, wipes out the whole universe. So that's Goku's job. He basically is the manager of everything. He guards, he protects, he makes sure things are running smoothly, and gets things back to ZENO and the Grand Priest immediately. Now, as for the Broly movie. Now, for the Broly movie, it could not happen because Frieza's not alive. You could say that the Saiyans do meet Chi-Lai, Lemo, and Broly and Paragus, because how? Well, Chi-Lai and Lemo would still find Broly and Paragus, use their ship to travel around the universe as Paragus learns that Vegeta is still alive. Maybe they could land on Earth after finding out, maybe finding, of course, Vegeta and Raditz there, having Broly, but honestly, I could see Broly turning on Paragus because over time, Chi-Lai and Lemo would change Broly's mind that his father is a bad person, so Broly would in turn leave Paragus on planet Vampa and leave, where Paragus would probably be killed by Ba or someone else, as he's too old and powerless. Broly's his own character, traveling around the universe, gaining better control over Super Saiyan power, and maybe they land on Earth, and that's where they do meet the Saiyans for the first time, which would be cool, and that's how Broly meets Vegeta and the others. That would be cool. And past that point, then the next arc would be the likes of the Moro arc. If that did happen, unfortunately for Moro, he would have to deal with Goku. Now, Moro being a big danger, Goku's cosmic energy would completely blow up more from the inside out because he cannot absorb that power. It's too immense, and he can't sustain that kind of energy. Now, past that, the Gas and Granola arc would never happen. The Red Ribbon Army saga, could that have happened? Yes and no. Even if you wanted to have Cell Max come back and fight Gohan, Piccolo, and the others, maybe you could see Gohan, who unlocked his ultimate form. I think it's possible because the Kais could see Gohan's potential. Piccolo wished for his new orange form. So let's just say that goes the same. Yes, Gohan unlocks his new beast form because he needs to step up as his father's not around much anymore. And then he was able to catch up to Vegeta and Raditz. Piccolo, the same thing. They defeat Cell Max, or maybe just Cell, who just looks like first form Cell, and they were defeated. Now, honestly, the Granola and Gas arc would not happen, so past that point, Goku would just be traveling around all the other universes. I definitely think when Universe 11, he would definitely fight Jiren, as he's interested in Jiren's power, and it'll be a pretty intense match, but Goku would win. Pretty easy. As Goku by this point would outlive his friends and family, as Goku would arrive on Earth 100 years later. As it's been over 100 years, and Pan is still alive. Pan is around 104 years old, like what we saw in Dragon Ball GT. At the end of it, Goku would smile as he watches Pan, who was watching the tournament, watching a version of himself. It's like Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. fighting each other. As Goku would smile, as he can almost see the ghost of all of his friends there watching in admiration, as Earth has changed a lot. During that time, over the 100 years, the Saiyans were wished back, and a lot of them inhabited Earth. Now there's a lot of Saiyan culture there, and there's a lot of Saiyans, and these Saiyans work with the Galactic Patrol, so Earth is almost a stopping point for warriors to initiate justice. Universe 7 is a flourishing universe, and Lord Beerus has stepped down as the God of Destruction by this point, because he's not the God of Destruction no more, nor is Goku. They found a new candidate. Now, the new candidate would definitely be Raditz, or maybe even somebody else, Piccolo, for somebody that could step up. Or you could just say that Beerus is still the God of Destruction candidate. Either way, it's only been 100 years, which is nothing for Beerus. He can sleep that in a nap. As Goku would then hold Pan's hand, and she was amazed to see her grandfather again. Goku was happy to talk with her for a short while as they sit by an old tree. Now, Goku came here because Pan is the last people who remembers Goku, and she was dying. Goku would sit with her and tell her how proud he is, and that is she scared. And she says, I've lived such a long life, I've seen all my friends go away, but I know that the other world seems pretty nice. You'll come visit me, won't you? And Goku says, yes, I will. And Pan would then pass away in Goku's arms, as she was the last member who knows Son Goku. Now, Goku is more of a legend on the planet. They know that he's a deity, a god. But Pan knows who Goku truly is, a good man. And then when Pan opens her eyes, she's now in the reception desk of the other world, landing, she would see all of her friends, her family. Everyone was waiting for her. As then, landing right next to her would be Goku himself, who can visit anytime he wants. He would then walk with Pan towards the family, their friends, as they all smiled at Goku, happy to see him once again. As then all 12 universes were brought into peace. And that is it for this series, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down below of Goku finding true happiness and the happy ending of this series. Make sure to stay on the lookout for the community polls, and make sure to post your ideas and to make the vote for the next one. Thank you all so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Let's get to 50,000 subscribers, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.